Let me ask you something that might sound strange at first. What if the moment you stop trying to control everything is exactly when you gain real control? I know it sounds backwards, right? We've been taught our entire lives to try harder, do more, prove ourselves. To chase success, affection, approval, as if life is some constant audition and we're always hoping to land the part. But what if that's the trap? See, in the quiet corners of history, long before Instagram likes and endless emails, there were thinkers who whispered something radically different. People like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and later, modern minds influenced by them, they spoke of a power not built on noise or hustle, but on inner stillness. The Stoics had a name for it: ataraxia, kind of unshakable peace. Not the peace you find when everything goes your way, but the kind that stays with you even when nothing does. And here's the real twist: this stillness? It's magnetic. You become most attractive, most respected, most impactful. Not when you're chasing validation, but when you no longer need it. Let that sink in for a second, because if you've ever felt like you had to prove your worth, if you've ever exhausted yourself trying to be enough in someone else's eyes, this message might change the way you see yourself completely. Imagine walking into a room and not needing to be seen, but still being noticed. Not because you demanded attention, but because you radiated something deeper. Something grounded. Something whole. That's not arrogance. That's not playing games. That's presence. It's like this. When someone truly knows who they are, when they've done the inner work and stopped outsourcing their value, they move differently. They speak with calm. They hold their ground without raising their voice. And people feel at even if they can't explain why. Think about the last time you met someone like that. Maybe it was a mentor, a quiet leader, or even a stranger who said almost nothing but left a lasting impression. They didn't need to perform. They didn't need applause. They were simply there. Solid, centered, still. That's what we're talking about here. Not detachment, not distance, not pretending to be too cool to care, but a deep-rooted confidence that says, I already matter. I don't need you to choose me to prove that. And ironically, that's when you often do become the one people gravitate toward. Not because you begged for it, not because you chased it, but because you became rare simply by being real. This isn't just philosophy for monks on mountaintops, it's deeply practical. Especially in a world that constantly pushes us to be more visible, more liked, more responsive. Every ding on your phone, every like, every message, every online presence metric, they're all whispering, do more, show more, be more. But at what cost? If trying harder has only made you feel emptier, if approval always feels just out of reach, maybe it's time to try something different. Something ancient. Something still. In this video, we're not just talking about mindset. We're talking about a shift that changes how you move through the world. It's not about withdrawing. It's about becoming undeniable without ever having to demand it. So here's my invitation. Let's explore what happens when we stop trying to be chosen and start choosing ourselves. Because maybe, just maybe, the real power begins not when you're finally seen, but when you stop needing to be. Have you ever caught yourself refreshing your inboxer? Your Instagram hoping to see a little red notification bubble? Maybe it's a client reply, a great job, from your boss, or just a heart emoji on the photo you posted during lunch. One tap, one more scroll, one more microdose of, yes, you matter. We tell ourselves it's harmless. We call it staying connected. But underneath the pixels, there's a quiet, anxious whisper. If I stop trying, I'll be forgotten. That single belief to me, almost invisible as the engine driving a cultural hamster wheel. We run faster, post more, volunteer for extra shifts, polish every sentence in that email until it shines like chrome. We become experts at being busy, but somehow never feel seen. 1. The invisible contract we never signed. When did we agree that our worth should be up for public vote? Most of us don't remember the day, it's more like a slow drip. Childhood report cards taped to the fridge, gold stars in grade school. The first job where attaboy praise felt like oxygen. The brain takes notes. Do more, be perfect, get applause, feel safe. But here's the catch. Applause is rented, not owned. The moment the clapping stops, so does the feeling. It's like paying for warmth with single-use matches. Strike, flare, fade, repeat. No wonder we're exhausted. Thought starter for you, right now. If all public praise disappeared for a month, no likes, no compliments, no performance review show, would you describe your value in one sentence? Could you? 2. Performance versus presence. Approval-seeking loves costumes. At work, we fast-forward into perfect employee mode. Always early, never ruffled, laptop practically welded to our hands. With friends, we toggle into always available, laughing at jokes we don't find funny, answering texts at lightning speed. On paper, it looks productive. In reality, it's a leak, the slow, silent kind that drains the battery of your life. Every extra grin that isn't genuine whispers the same message to the room: my worth is up to you. Please sign off on me. People hear subtext more than words. They sense the reach, the slight lean-in of need, and unconsciously label it effort. But effort is not the same as energy. Effort is noise. Energy is frequency. Effort says, tell me I'm enough. Energy says nothing, and in that silence becomes unforgettable. 3. The hidden cost of constant auditions. Imagine a Broadway actor asked to audition every night, even after landing the role line by line, scene by scene, curtain never rising until the director reapproves. Absurd, right? Yet many of us do exactly that in our relationships and careers. Every, did you get my message? Every, just circling back. Every selfie posted mostly so someone can type, understands the subtext. Please renew my contract for one more day. It's not that seeking feedback is wrong. Growth needs mirrors. The problem begins when mirrors become windows that anyone can climb through and rearrange the furniture of your soul. External validation, left unchecked, rewrites your story in someone else's ink. Before long, you're living a draft you never meant to sign off on. 4. How approval chasing hijacks your narrative. Psychologists call it self-objectification, seeing yourself primarily through others' eyes. The brain rewires for audience reaction. Creativity dips. Risk-taking plummets. You choose the safer joke, the safer outfit, the safer dream. Safety feels smart in the moment, but it erodes the very thing that could set you apart, your weird, wonderful edges. I felt this firsthand a few years back. Running a marketing agency, every client email felt like a verdict. I'd draft 12 headline variations for a simple banner ad because, heaven forbid, they think I missed something. Revenue climbed, sure, but so did anxiety. One day, a mentor asked, "When was the last time you wrote something that scared you a little?" I couldn't remember. That's when I realized I'd traded boldness for applause. The applause was loud, but my voice had gone quiet. 5. Breaking the spell. 3 micro shifts. 1. Pause before you post. Next time you feel the itch to share, ask, am I offering or asking? Offering is generous. Asking for validation often stems from emptiness. Sometimes the bravest thing is to sit with the itch and let it pass. 2. Swap metrics for moments. Instead of counting likes on a photo, count how many times you caught yourself belly laughing today. Those moments reveal a life being lived, not measured. 3. Practice warm no's. Say no with kindness to the extra project, the weekend plan, the quick favor that isn't quick. Every no teaches your nervous system that neglecting yourself isn't heroic. It's a quiet vote for your own disappearance. These aren't grand gestures. They're subtle rewrites in your daily script, the kind you feel before anyone else notices. 6. Reclaiming the pen. Here's the paradox worth tattooing on your journal cover. You become unforgettable the moment you stop performing for memory. When you define your worth internally, applause turns into a bonus, not a paycheck. Critics lose their leverage. Algorithms lose their grip. Conversations shift from, "Am I impressing them?" to, "Am I expressing something true?" Ask yourself, who gets to hold the pen today? The client who might fire you? The date who might ghost you? The parent who still sees you as the kid who forgot to mow the lawn? Or you? Reclaiming that pen doesn't require a social media cleanse or a cabin in the woods. It starts in micro moments. Hitting send without triple, guessing the wording, wearing the outfit because you like how it feels, closing the laptop at 6 p.m. because rest is revenue in disguise. Each act quietly edits the narrative back into your own language. 7. A challenge to carry forward. This week, catch one instance where you normally hustle for a quick hit of approval, then do the opposite. Let the email sit overnight. Let the silence in the group chat breathe. Watch what happens. Maybe nothing, and that's information. Maybe the world keeps spinning and your heart stays steady. That's power. Because the truth is simple. Chasing approval is expensive, and the invoice always arrives in energy. Pay enough of those invoices, and eventually you'll feel bankrupt, burned out, blurred out, ghostwriting a life for an audience that might not even be listening. But choose instead to invest that energy inward into stillness, into craft, into relationships that don't require performance, and you'll notice something miraculous. The same people who once needed convincing start leaning in. They may not understand why, but they feel the shift. That's the magnetism ancient Stoics recognized centuries ago, showing up in your modern, messy, beautiful life. So, here's where we pivot in the next segment. We'll explore how to turn that reclaimed energy into a calm, unmistakable presence ataraxia in action. But for now, sit with this question. What would my day look like if I didn't need anyone's applause to feel complete? Seriously, let it echo. Your answer might be the first line of the story you were always meant to write. Picture two people walking into a crowded coffee shop. The first is flustered, phone buzzing, laptop half open before they even order. They smile a little too wide, laugh a little too loud, and apologize 3 times for taking up space. The second simply arrives. No rush. Shoulders relaxed. They stand in line like an old oak, tree-rooted, unhurried, greeting the barista by name. Nothing flashy, yet every head turns for a moment. Why? That, my friend, is the quiet power of rooted energy, and the Greeks had a word for the state behind it. Ataraxia. Unshakable serenity. A calm so deep it speaks louder than any clever line or perfect resume. 2. Rooted energy and ataraxia. 1. Why effortful striving repels and stillness attracts. Think back to high school science. Remember how 2 magnets placed the wrong way actually push each other apart? Human energy works the same. When we're desperate to prove ourselves, we emit a subtle push attention that says, "Validate me, hurry." People read that frequency, often without realizing it, and instinctively lean away. But a calm presence pulls like gravity. It's the difference between waving your arms to flag down a taxi and simply standing on the curb with quiet confidence, knowing one will arrive. Ever notice how the latter somehow does get a cab faster? The world responds to grounded energy because it signals safety, competence, and room to breathe. 2. Ataraxia in action. Modern examples. Mr. Rogers in front of Congress, 1969. No shouting, no PowerPoint, just a gentleman reading children's lyrics. His serenity melted Senate skepticism and secured funding for public television. Stillness won the day. Serena Williams at match point. Crowd roaring, opponent glaring, sweat everywhere yet watch her eyes. Soft focus, slow breath, total presence. The racket swing is almost secondary. The victory starts in her heartbeat. That friend who barely posts on social media, they're somehow always doing cool stuff offline. When they do share a photo, you pause, you look. Scarcity plus calm equals magnetism. Ask yourself, who in my life radiates that grounded energy? How does being around them make me feel? Chances are, safe, seen, maybe even inspired to slow down. 3. The neuroscience behind the calm. Here's a quick brain detour. When we're locked in prove myself mode, the amygdala threat detector fires up. Cortisol floods the body, narrowing focus and shortening breath. We enter a low-grade fight-or-flight loop, which, ironically, makes us appear less trustworthy. People sense the micro-tension in our voice, the darting eyes, the fidgeting hands. Ataraxia flips that script. Slow breathing and grounded posture signal the parasympathetic nervous system. We're safe. Dopamine and serotonin rise, pupils soften, voice drops half a tone. Listeners mirror that calm, their own stress chemicals fade, and suddenly conversation flows instead of competes. It's biology, not magic, though it sure feels magical. 4. Cultivating rooted energy. 3 practices. 1. 1-minute roots. Before meetings, dates, even phone calls, plant both feet on the floor. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 2, exhale for 6. Imagine exhaling roots into the earth. Do it in elevators if you must, nobody notices. You'll drop from head noise to body wisdom in 60 seconds. 2. Digital Sabbath light. Pick any 2 waking hours a day. Airplane mode, screens off, no exceptions. Read a paperback, cook, stare out a window. Train your nervous system to remember life without a dopamine drip. The longer you practice, the quieter your baseline becomes. 3. Micro-silence in conversation. Next time someone asks you a question, pause an extra beat before answering. That micro-stillness communicates thoughtfulness and confidence and lets you respond, not react. It's also contagious. Watch the other person slow down too. 5. A personal detour. My own stillness experiment. A year ago, I realized my mornings looked like a SWAT raid phone alarm, news doom scroll, triple espresso, inbox triage. I felt productive, but weirdly forgettable. So I tried something radical. 30 days of silent sunrise walks. No headphones, no talking, just dawn and footfall. By week 2, something shifted. I noticed birds again. I tasted my coffee fully. In meetings, I spoke less but landed more. Clients described my new calm as if I'd installed better lighting. The work didn't change me, energy did. That's the hidden dividend of ataraxia. You keep doing life, but life starts leaning toward you. 6. From audience to atmosphere. Imagine your presence as the soundtrack to every room you enter. Is it frantic techno slow jazz? When your internal tempo steadies, you're no longer performing on stage hoping for applause. You're shaping the entire atmosphere. People trust a steady beat. Remember the oak tree in our coffee shop story? Its roots go down first. Leaves come later. We often reverse the order, trying to sprout shiny leaves of achievement without nourishing any underground stillness. Nature says that's unsustainable. Storms will test your roots. Stoic wisdom agrees. The real work is invisible rehearsal, so public moments feel effortless. 7. A thought experiment to close this segment. Tonight, before bed, jot 2 columns. Column A. Moments today when you felt rushed, performative, a little off. Column B. Moments when you felt settled, timeless, fully you. Compare the aftermath of each. Where did conversations flow? Where did fatigue creep in? That ledger is your map from effort to energy. Because here's the simple truth. Confidence isn't loud. Attraction isn't frantic. Power never needs to shout. When your presence whispers, "I'm at ease," people lean closer to hear what else it might say. Let me paint a quick scene. Picture a conference room buzzing before a big pitch. Everyone is shuffling papers, whisper practicing talking points. checking last-minute slides. Then the door opens and a woman in a charcoal blazer steps in, closes her laptop, and simply sits. No frantic scrolling, no breathless small talk, just steady eye contact and a relaxed half smile, as if time itself takes a deeper breath around her. Within 30 seconds, the nervous buzz drops half a notch. Nobody can explain why, but they sense it. She's not here to perform, she's here to be. And in that hush, she already owns the room before saying a single word. That is quiet confidence in action. It's the superpower behind every leader who turns tension into focus, every mentor who makes you feel safe enough to grow, every friend who can silence inner storms with a single grounded glance. 1. Knowing yourself. The original user manual. Aristotle put it plainly, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Sounds poetic, but it doubles as a troubleshooting guide for modern life. Because when you skip self-knowledge, you outsource it. You let LinkedIn titles, family expectations, or even comment sections decide who you are. That's like letting strangers write your phone's operating system crashes guaranteed. Start small. Could you list 5 values that matter more than your job title? 5 activities that refill your energy instead of draining it? Most people can't, yet those answers are the bedrock of calm presence. When you know the terrain inside, you stop relying on outside applause for your GPS. 2. From performing to embodying. Performance isn't all bad. Actors, athletes, even accountants occasionally need game mode. The trap is living there constantly scanning faces for approval, tweaking tone to match the vibe, apologizing for taking up oxygen. It's exhausting, and worse. Audiences change daily. Keep chasing their script, and your identity becomes a choose your own adventure written by everyone but you. Embodying, on the other hand, is when your actions flow straight from your core values, no translator, no lag. Think of it like switching from streaming a shaky internet feed to playing a song downloaded offline. The music is smoother, and no one can cut it mid-chorus. Ask yourself, where in my life do I switch personalities like browser tabs? That's the signal to pause, not polish. Trade the costume for alignment. The applause may dip at first, but the respect lasts far longer. 3. The physics of stillness. Society worships volume followers, click-throughs, hot takes per minute. Yet look closely, and you'll notice a paradox. The loud often blend together, while the silent get remembered. Martin Luther King Jr. Most quoted line begins with a pause. I have a dream. Steve Jobs used deliberate silence before unveiling new products, letting the hush sharpen anticipation like a drawn bowstring. Neurobiology backs this up. In quiet, mirror neurons fire more accurately. Our brains sync with slower rhythms and perceive the silent person as more in control. It's why a baby calms in the arms of a steady parent, and why negotiators who lean back and breathe often win better terms. So when you enter a crowded feed or a literal crowded room, consider dropping your volume before raising it. Quiet is a spotlight no algorithm can dim. 4. Field notes, a personal story. A few summers ago, I emceed a tech summit. Day 1, I tried to match the crowd's hype. Caffeine jokes, rapid-fire transitions, big gestures. Feedback cards said fun, but I felt like a living GIF. Looped, but hollow. Day 2, I scrapped the comic routine. I stepped on stage, inhaled slowly, and began with a 15-second pause facing 400 people. You could hear laptop fans. Then I asked, when was the last time you felt truly heard? Phones lowered, shoulders dropped, and the next session unfolded like a campfire conversation. Post-event surveys jumped from fun to memorable. Same content, new energy. That taught me a career-altering truth. Presence isn't what you add. It's what you remove until only clarity remains. 5. Exercises for cultivating quiet confidence. 1. The 4 to 4 -6 breath reset, 4-second inhale, 4-second hold, 6-second exhale. Repeat 3 times before important interactions. It downshifts your nervous system and subtly signals calm to everyone watching. 2. Daily 1-sentence journal. Each night, finish this prompt. Today I felt most like myself when... Over weeks, patterns emerge. Those are your authenticity beacons. Arrange your schedule to feature more of them. 3. Strategic silence rehearsal. In conversations, practice letting the other person fill the first follow-up silence. You'll notice they often reveal a deeper layer, and you earn the unofficial title of great listener without saying more. 6. Common myths debunked. Myth: quiet confidence equals introversion. Reality: extroverts can wield stillness too. It's a dial, not a blueprint. Myth: if I'm silent, I'll seem disengaged. Reality: silence married to eye contact reads as attentiveness, not apathy. Myth: confidence requires certainty. Reality: true confidence coexists with unknowns. It simply trusts its capacity to respond. 7. Invitation to experiment. Tomorrow, approach one routine task: ordering coffee, joining a Zoom call, greeting family at dinner with 2 micro shifts. 1. Slow your first sentence by 10%. 2. Hold eye contact an extra heartbeat before speaking. Notice how the room or screen breathes differently. Confidence is contagious. Give people a whiff, and they inhale possibility for themselves. 8. Closing reflection. Let's circle back to Aristotle's wisdom. Knowing yourself isn't a one-time download. It's firmware that updates quietly each day you choose authenticity over theater. And every update polishes your inner stillness until it shines bright enough to light others' paths without a single extra decibel. Because in a world addicted to noise, the calm voice is the one worth turning up. So here's the question to carry into the next segment. If silence could speak on your behalf, what would you want it to say about who you are? Answer that, and you'll never need to raise your volume again. Think of the most intriguing person you know. They don't play hard to get, they simply are. When they walk into a room, you sense a story behind their eye-zone. They'll share only if the moment feels right. That pull you feel isn't a trick. It's an echo of something deeper: wholeness. See, real mystery never starts with tactics like delayed texts or calculated aloofness. Those are just social parlor games, fun for a night, exhausting for a lifetime. True, intentional mystery rises from the quiet certainty that I'm already complete. When you feel full, you don't rush to pour yourself into every cup that's offered. You choose where your energy lands. And that choice creates what I call respectful tension space. Big enough for curiosity to bloom, but safe enough for trust to grow. Let me give you a personal snapshot. After years of saying yes to every coffee meeting, I finally blocked Friday afternoons for deep work, no calls, no notifications. At first I worried people would think I'd vanished. Instead, something fascinating happened. Clients began preparing sharper questions for Monday calls. Friends sent fewer, richer messages. By being selectively present, I'd raised the quality of every interaction without a single productivity hack. The boundary spoke louder than any announcement email could have. Here's the paradox. Withholding your constant availability doesn't make you scarce. It makes your presence sacred. Like a lighthouse, you're steady, but not everywhere. And sailors navigate by you precisely because you're fixed, not frantic. Your silence, your offline moments, become signals of stability in a hyper-noisy sea. So, how can you weave intentional mystery into daily life without feeling like you're staging a magic act? Try this. 1. Guard one pocket of time each day. Call it no explain mode. You don't justify it, you just live it. Read, walk, tinker anything that feeds you. People might ask why you're unavailable. Let them wonder. The answer will reveal itself in your renewed energy. 2. Speak at the pace of thought, not urgency. When someone expects an instant opinion, pause. That heartbeat of reflection says, I value this moment enough to consider it. It's amazing how much authority lives in a deliberate breath. 3. Share chapters, not your entire diary. Offer stories that illuminate your values rather than every detail of your day. Think of conversation as jazz. What you don't play gives shape to the notes you do. Ask yourself tonight, what parts of my life deserve velvet ropes instead of revolving doors? Set one small boundary around those parts this week. Watch how the world adjusts. Show respect replaces expectation, how interest replaces assumption. Remember, intentional mystery isn't about hiding. It's about revealing only what aligns with the story you're actively living. When your silence is rooted in self-respect, people lean in not because you manipulated them, but because your wholeness is quietly undeniable. When was the last time you left a table, work, friendship, romance, without second-guessing the exit? If that moment felt like exhaling after holding your breath underwater, you've tasted the quiet power we're talking about today. Because real strength isn't how tightly you can grip, it's how calmly you can let go without dropping pieces of yourself on the way out. I learned this in my 20s, managing a creative team for a brand that prized speed over soul. Deadlines shrank, weekends vanished, and my inbox became a fire hose. The money was good, the title looked shiny on LinkedIn, but every Monday my stomach staged a protest. One Friday at 2 a.m., staring at yet another urgent email, I closed the laptop, sent a 2-sentence resignation, and walked into the night air. No dramatic speech, no bridge-burning tweet, just a decision. My peace was worth more than their panic. 2 weeks later, sleep returned. Friends said my voice sounded lower, steadier, like I'd lowered the background noise in my own life. That's the first truth. Walking away is an upgrade, not a retreat, when you're walking toward alignment. Self-respect acts like high-quality headphones. It cancels out frequencies that don't match your personal soundtrack. Suddenly, the mentors who said, "You're too much," fade out. And the partners who say, "I see you," come in crisp and clear. But here's the paradox. Nobody tells you. The moment you stop auditioning for every role in other people's stories, your calendar doesn't empty, it curates. A purpose-led life is already full. Mornings with intention, work that lights you up, relationships that breathe back. In that fullness, your time becomes rare. And rarity, by nature, is valuable. So how do you practice this without booking a one-way ticket to no man's land? Try a simple 2-step filter. 1. Check the alignment meter. After any interaction, ask, do I feel expanded or contracted? Expansion equals resonance. Contraction signals misfit. Don't analyze a sense. Your body is a better compass than your spreadsheet. 2. Set the cost cap. Decide in advance the maximum price you'll pay: hours, emotional bandwidth, moral compromise before you walk. Having the number ready means you won't haggle when the bill arrives. Remember, people respect what you respect. When you treat your energy as premium fuel, others adjust their driving habits. Some will refuel elsewhere, and that's not rejection. It's road clearing. The ones who remain will match your pace or cheer from the sidelines as you speed ahead. Let's close with a question to pocket for the week. If I honored every no, my gut whispers, how different would my days look? Sit with that. Because the ability to step away with your wholeness intact isn't just a skill. It's the birthplace of authentic influence and, ultimately, a life that feels like it's truly yours. So, here we are, full circle. We've walked through the trap of approval seeking, the steady roots of ataraxia, the art of intentional mystery, and the dignified power of walking away. Now one truth remains standing, simple as a lighthouse on a calm coast. The moment you no longer need to be chosen, you become unforgettable. Think about the people who linger in your memory. The teacher whose calm made calculus feel like poetry. The barista who greets the morning rush with monk-level serenity. The friend who listens so deeply you feel taller after lunch. None of them chased spotlight. The spotlight found them. Their secret? A quiet certainty that their worth was already non-negotiable. That kind of presence leaves an echo soft enough to miss if you're multitasking, yet strong enough to guide ships at night. In a world where everyone is shouting for attention, stillness amplifies. It's the sonic boom you can't hear, but swear you feel. Let's ground this in a quick thought experiment. Imagine tomorrow you wake up with a tiny toggle switch behind your ear labeled Need for Validation. You flip it to off. Same job, same family, same inbox, but your energy shifts from audition mode to author mode. How does your first conversation change? How does your calendar look when yes means alignment instead of obligation? Jot a note. That vision is your North Star. Now, a gentle warning. This isn't a one-and-done mindset hack. Life will still offer applause like candy and criticism like rain. The practice is remembering you can enjoy both without letting either write your story. Check in with your breath, your boundaries, your Friday afternoons. Are they yours? Or are they rented out to everyone else's expectations? Reclaim 1 square inch at a time. Before we wrap, here's a challenge you can start tonight. 1. Choose one space, maybe dinner with family, or tomorrow's team huddle where you'll show up rooted, phone away, heart steady. 2. Let silence do half the talking. Notice how people lean into the quiet. 3. Resist the reflex to prove. Offer value because it's in you, not because you need a receipt for it. Then watch what happens. Some may be puzzled by your calm, others will be magnetized. Either way, you'll leave an imprint that outlasts any clever punchline. I'll leave you with this image. A deep lake at dawn. No wind, no ripples, yet mountains mirror themselves perfectly on its surface. That's the power of grounded presence. It reflects the best in others without losing an ounce of itself. Thank you for spending these minutes with me. If this journey sparked something real inside you, consider subscribing or sharing this with someone who needs a reminder that still waters don't just run deep, they run unforgettable. Until next time, stay rooted, stay whole, and let your quiet echo carry farther than any shout ever could.